What is cyanide? Cyanide is a rapidly acting, potentially deadly chemical that can exist in various forms. Cyanide can be a colorless gas such as hydrogen cyanide or a crystal such as sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide. Where is cyanide found and its uses? Cyanide is found in some foods and in certain plants such as lima beans and almonds. Pits and seeds of common fruits such as apricots, apples, and peaches may have substantial amounts of cyanide in them. The edible parts of these plants contain much lower amounts of cyanide, though. Cyanide is contained in cigarette smoke and combustion products of synthetic materials such as plastics. Combustion products are substances given off when things burn. Reports have indicated that during the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s, hydrogen cyanide gas may have been used against the inhabitants of the Kurdish city of Halabasha in northern Iraq. How can you be exposed to cyanide? You can be exposed to cyanide by breathing air, drinking water, eating food, or touching soil that contains cyanide. Cyanide enters water, soil, or air as a result of both natural processes and industrial activities. When present in air, it is usually in the form of gaseous hydrogen cyanide. Smoking cigarettes is probably one of the major sources of cyanide exposure for people who do not work in cyanide-related industries.
How cyanide works. The extent of poisoning caused by cyanide depends on the amount of cyanide a person is exposed to, the route of exposure, and the length of time that a person is exposed. Breathing cyanide gas causes the most harm, but swallowing cyanide can be toxic as well. Cyanide gas prevents the cells in the body from using oxygen. When this happens, the cells die. Cyanide is more harmful to the heart and brain than the other organs because the heart and brain use the most oxygen. The immediate signs and symptoms of exposure to cyanide. People exposed to a small amount of cyanide by breathing it in, absorbing it through the air or skin, or eating foods that contain it may have some of the following signs and symptoms: dizziness, nausea, vomiting, rapid heart rate, and weakness. Exposure to a large amount of cyanide by any route may cause other effects: loss of consciousness, lung injury, respiratory failure leading to death. How cyanide poisoning is treated. Cyanide poisoning is treated with specific antidotes. Antidotes for cyanide poisoning are the most useful if given as soon as possible after exposure. Doctors should treat suspected cases accordingly and not wait for laboratory confirmation. The most important thing is for victims to seek medical treatment as soon as possible.